Welcome to Now. High youth unemployment in the Middle East is a global problem. Is there a way to create jobs on a massive scale? Stay with us.
Now on PBS.
Americans need to pay attention to a crisis of vast proportions in the Middle East: unemployment. Across the region, more than 10 million young people have no work. It's a situation that breeds frustration, resentment, and anger. My colleague Mona Iskander traveled to Jordan, where local businesses are partnering up with an American organization to find a solution.
In the early hours of the morning, in one of the poorest neighborhoods in Amman, Jordan, 25-year-old Mahmoud Abdelnabi is getting ready for work. He's a computer technician, and he's thrilled to have his first job since graduating from college last February.
I think that I'm an ordinary person, not a special one. The greatest thing is that I found a job quickly. I consider myself very lucky.
Why were people surprised that you got a job so fast? Is that unusual?
In Jordan, yes.
Not everyone has been as lucky. A full 1/4 of the young people in the Middle East are unemployed. Take 23-year-old Anas Hamdan. He graduated from college months ago and is still looking.
It's normal to be frustrated, because even though work is important financially, it is even more important psychologically. So you don't feel emptiness inside.
Anas lives at home with his older brother Ahmed and 4 other siblings. They are the men of the house, while their father works as a teacher in Dubai and sends back money. They see him only once a year. Ahmed is worried about his younger brother.
He don't like to see his friends. He don't like to make any relation now. He stays only in his house, and he became very sad.
Anas's frustration is shared by more than 10 million young people across the Middle East who are also looking for jobs. The youth unemployment rate here in the Middle East is the highest of any region in the world. We came here to Jordan, a country where nearly 1/3 of the young people are out of work, to see the problem up close and to look at how local businesses, an American entrepreneur, and Arab leaders are trying to come up with solutions.
Young people represent a very large percentage of our population, and if we fail to create the job opportunities for them, then you're going to have a lot of frustrated hope. Our region needs to create 100 million jobs by the year 2020. Now that's a very daunting number.
It is definitely a crisis. It's a big crisis.
Bassem Salem is the Minister of Labor in Jordan. He's concerned that the frustration will lead to instability. What does that mean for the country?
Look what's happening in Iraq, look what's happening in Palestine, and the frustration of people is, they don't see light at the end of the tunnel, and this is very dangerous.
Michael Hager hopes to be part of the solution. He's the president of an American organization working in 5 Middle Eastern countries to create jobs.
It's only going to be through training that will make an unemployable graduate employable. This is the key, and I think we can do that.
The nonprofit is called Education for Employment. In Jordan, its 4 career programs range from a land surveying course for college grads to an air conditioning repair class that gives students hands-on training. Compared to the massive numbers of unemployed youth, the relatively new program is still very small. But what's innovative, Hager says, is that the organization lines up jobs for young people before they start the training.
There is, in many places, what is called training fatigue, where the students go to training and there's nothing after that. We start at the other end. We start with the business leaders and we ask them, what do you need? What skills are in short supply?
Education for Employment does it by partnering with local businesses, like this air conditioning company in Amman. Together, they provide technical training and people skills. And at the end, the company has committed to hiring 100 graduates.
Getting the private sector on board, that is, the most important. If you don't have jobs, what are we training for?
Mayata Abu Jaber is Education for Employment's director in Jordan. She recruits Jordanians from disadvantaged backgrounds. Some have had limited access to education, others have university degrees.
So you have college grads who are they finished school and they can't find jobs.
Yes, they're all excited to get jobs, and then they come out and then they look around and they sit sometimes a year, 2 years, not getting the job. And
why is that?
Because there is a mismatch of what the youth are getting at the university and what the private sector wants. And we see ourselves coming into this area and filling this gap for these youth, helping them.
In fact, college and university grads have among the highest rates of unemployment.
These youth, they go to college or they go to high school, and if they're dead-ended or they're washing dishes and they have no future and they can't marry and they can't raise kids, it's not a good thing.
Ron Bruder is the vision and the money behind Education for Employment. A New York businessman who made millions in the real estate industry, he felt the need to take action after the attacks of 9/11 and was inspired by the Marshall Plan.
We, after World War II, had reached out to the countries that we had been fighting with months earlier, rebuilt their economies, and made long-term allies out of them. I felt we should be doing that in this region.
A self-described Jewish guy from Brooklyn, he committed $10 million of his own money to start Education for Employment back in 2002. In addition to its 4 programs in Jordan, it now offers training in the West Bank, Gaza, Morocco, and has 2 programs on the way in Egypt and Yemen. In Jordan, Ahmed, the older Hamdan brother, learned about Education for Employment at a job fair. He just graduated university and enrolled in the Workplace Success class, which taught him skills like how to interview and write a resume. 2 months after completing the training, Ahmed was offered a job in his field of electrical engineering at a great salary.
I'm excited for this new opportunity because it will gives me the good income.
But there's a catch. It's in Saudi Arabia. Like many other young men in the Arab world, Ahmed will have to leave his home for a better job in the Gulf region. Education for Employment is bringing Middle Eastern companies and organizations on board so that one day it won't need money from the U.S. But for now, the bulk of the funding still comes from the United States. What Hager points to is success stories like Mahmoud. He's the college grad who felt lucky to have found a job so quickly. Every day he travels 1 hour by public bus to a water management company, where he works in computer support. He credits the Workplace Success Program.
The training through Education for Employment taught me about the way things are done in the workplace, how to deal with employees, how to present yourself in an interview. It was a really good opportunity, excellent, perhaps the best chance I've gotten.
The job and the salary that comes with it have a ripple effect. Mahmoud can now help out his parents with the bills and expenses for the 3 siblings who live at home with them. And that's crucial at a time when food shortages and rising prices make daily life a struggle. For all of those reasons, Education for Employment is reaching out to those who have it harder than others. Young men like 23-year-old Motnis Sadiq. He grew up in an orphanage in Amman and never finished high school. Having a career was only a dream, Motnis says, until he found out about the air conditioning repair program through the orphanage.
When I complete the training, I hope to work here, God willing. Because I never had a trade before, this is my first profession in my entire life.
Motnis hopes to one day be an example for the children in the orphanage where he spent his childhood.
You talk a lot about the private sector and the partnership, but shouldn't the government be doing more?
I think the private sector should do more. The government should be a regulator. They put the laws and regulations. I don't think governments can do things better. The private sector can do it better. We set the standards, let them do the training, let them decide on the curriculum, let them decide on what programs they need, because ultimately those are the kids, the boys and girls that they will employ. Government should be out of it.
When we looked around the region for examples of what the private sector could do, Education for Employment was one of a handful of programs with immediate results. But it's a very, very small start. Since Education for Employment opened for business 2 years ago, it has found jobs for only 252 students across the region.
We're a drop in the bucket, but we're moving toward much larger output. When we started, we were having graduates in the teens. Then this year in the hundreds. Next year, we hope to reach 1,000.
On this day in March, the first 18 students are graduating from the air conditioning repair program. It's a big moment. Even the labor minister is there.
I think it's a very good model. It's a small program, but all 18 kids that graduated, they all have jobs. So we don't have the problem of once they finish their training, they're still seeking and looking for a job.
But can this program make a difference?
I think it can make a difference. It's pilot projects. The most important issue is the private sector is more involved now.
Do you see success at this point?
You know, success for us is an evolving thing. You know, we look back over the past 2 years and we say the success has been phenomenal. But if we look ahead and see the scale of the mountain on the other side, we kind of hold our fire. We say we've got a long way to go.
But for those who have found jobs, it is a success. Ahmed Hamdan is one of them. He finally got the visa he's been waiting for.
Mother, I got the visa to travel.
Oh, thanks God.
It's a bittersweet moment for mother and son. Ahmed will have to leave his family and his city behind, just like his father has done for a job in Dubai.
It's my visa to travel to Saudi Arabia. I will leave Jordan, but I don't want that because I love my area and I love my friends and I love my people.
But Ahmed, like so many young people across the Middle East, knows that a job is too good to pass up.